One of the biggest problems is communication and the lack thereof. And when you communicate with respect, you get respect.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Yes, sir.
Can I say something?
Excuse
please?
me. Hold on, Nick. Go ahead, Mrs. Guy.
I would like to make a motion to form a bipartisan communication committee.
Second.
Regarding the Facebook group that is administered and moderated by Council President Percival, Councilman Capabianco, Councilman Long, Todd Bennett, and Michelle Skrobeck. In early February, I sent Solicitor Wills an email which explained that members of council are violating the civil rights of our residents with their use of Facebook, which makes them vulnerable to lawsuits. The solicitor stated in his reply that he does not have any particular expertise in the area of social media law. I replied to Solicitor Wills via email on April 17 and attached a court case that directly pertains to our situation in Parkside. I also included a summary I wrote, as well as articles that describe the legal implications of recent cases to a public official's use of social media. President Percival instructed Solicitor Wills not to spend any time reading the material I sent because she did not feel the expenses merited against our budget. By now, I would have expected our solicitor to familiarize himself with recent court decisions and their implications to a public official's use of social media in order to properly serve our borough, since this topic has come up at multiple meetings since the beginning of the year. Just as physicians read journals to stay informed of new developments in the ever-evolving field of medicine, lawyers are also expected to inform themselves on current case law that affects their clients. Solicitor Wills has repeated several times the claim Council President Percival has made that the group is run by council members who are acting as private individuals. According to the article, Court Rules Public Officials Can't Block Critics on Facebook from the ACLU, it is important to remember that people who hold public office can wear two hats. Sometimes they act as private individuals, and other times they are government actors. While they maintain their First Amendment rights when acting as private individuals, they are subject to the limits the First Amendment places on the government whenever they're doing government work. As the court rightly held, that includes any time they're controlling a Facebook page they maintain in their official roles. Specifically, the court recognized that when a public official uses a Facebook page as a tool of governance, that is, when she uses it to inform the public about her government work, solicits input on policy issues through the page, and swathes it in the trappings of her office, she is controlling the page as a government actor. And if she opens that page to public comment, the interactive space on the Facebook page constitutes a public forum. The following is an example of the council president using her Facebook account to post an official announcement on the borough group. Shirley Percival, president, wrote, "Hi Parkside residents, just a reminder that recycling is the first and third Wednesdays." It goes on to talk about trash, and then it's signed, "Thank you, Shirley Percival, president of council." Despite the protestations by the administrators and moderators of the borough group that it is run by residents who just happen to be members of council and is not an official group of the borough, it does indeed constitute a public forum. It was announced, the group, at the council meeting by the council president on December 19, 2018. There was a link to it on the homepage of the borough website inviting people to join, and it was advertised as the official group of the borough in numerous newsletters which were produced using taxpayer dollars and distributed to every household in our borough, up to and including the issue that came out last January. And it is used as a tool by borough officials to communicate official announcements. The group has over 600 members, many of whom joined when the group was represented as the official borough group. It is too late now to claim it can be run however the administrators wish to run it. Since the council members created the group using borough resources and used the group to make official announcements, they are controlling it as government actors, and they are subject to the limit the First Amendment places on government whenever they are doing government work. Individual council members have blocked residents from their Facebook profiles so they are unable to see any public posts they make, including announcements they post on the group in their role as a member of council. Most of these announcements can only be seen on Facebook by Facebook users who are not blocked by the group or the council member, and those announcements are not on the website or sent to the residents via email blast. This violates the residents' right to information. For example, Nick Capobianco sent, please avoid Edgemont at Forest View Road, sinkhole has enlarged, PennDOT is on their way. The right to criticize public officials is constitutionally protected speech. From the same ACLU article cited before, this means that when a public official blocks critics from the page because of their viewpoints, she violates the Constitution. Indeed, the right to criticize the government is at the heart of the First Amendment. The court specifically recognized blocking as infringing on that right, noting that blocking someone in order to silence criticism of government work is itself evidence of government action. And in the article, public officials beware blocking critics on social media from the American Bar Association, the judge said, the First Amendment does not permit a public official who utilizes a social media account for all matter of official purposes to exclude persons from an otherwise open online dialogue because they express views with which the official agrees. Parker went on to conclude, we remind the litigants and the public that if the First Amendment means anything, it means that the best response to disfavored speech on matters of public concern is more speech, not less. By deleting certain posts and comments and turning off comments on certain posts, the administrators and moderators are violating the First Amendment rights of our residents. Because council members control the Facebook group and use it to make official announcements, the group is a public forum. All of the residents who are blocked from the group or by public officials have a valid complaint that their right to information is being violated. From the article from the American Bar Association, the basic lesson from these cases is that once a public official opens a social media account and uses it to interact in an official capacity with users, the account qualifies as a public forum under the First Amendment, and the public official may not exclude users on the basis of viewpoint. There are more residents beyond those who have complained that are unhappy with how they are being treated by certain members of council, and some have sought advice from both law enforcement and attorneys on how to get these members of council to stop violating their rights. I have asked the residents to let me try to handle this directly instead of pursuing action themselves, so the borough can avoid the attorney fees, court costs, and any penalties that would be incurred if they were to file a complaint with the ACLU or pursue their own legal action against the council members. In order to avoid violating the rights of our residents, the council members must unblock all of the residents from the Facebook profile they use to post any announcements as a council member. Since the group membership was built using borough resources, it belongs to the borough. The group must either be deleted or administered in such a way that does not violate the right to information and First Amendment right to free speech of our residents. That would mean unblocking all residents who are currently blocked from the group and approving all requests by residents to join. Comments cannot be left on for some posts and turned off for others. Posts can't be selectively approved from some residents and deleted from others. Posts and comments cannot be deleted because the administrators don't like the content. The group rules need to be applied evenly and not enforced for some and disregarded for others. For example, rule number 5 states...
Are you almost done, Mrs.?
I am actually almost done. Rule number 5 states, keep conversations civil. There will be zero tolerance for any form of bullying from anybody whatsoever. No personal attacks and no irony/sarcasm. If you don't like something, ignore it. Yet the following comment from Councilman Long was permitted. Can we call out the desperate housewives of Parkside, AKA despicable middle-aged housewives of Parkside, that is creating all this drama? You can find them on the Freedom of Speech 19015 Facebook page, Administrator Councilman Anna Guy. Also, the group rules need to be revised to comply with the standards for a public forum. For example, rule number 3 says, negative comments from any other website towards any of the members of this site will be banned immediately once proven. Is clear intent to block residents based on criticism, which is protected speech under the First Amendment. If the residents were to pursue action against the council members who have blocked them or deleted posts or comments, Would the council members or the taxpayers pay for their legal defense, court costs, and any penalty? I would ask Solicitor Wills to advise council members to administer their Facebook group and pages in such a way that does not violate the rights of our residents. If he does not feel that he has sufficient knowledge about the laws regarding social media used by public officials to advise them properly, perhaps he is not the best person to advise the council on this matter. I urge members of the council to Google, "Can elected officials block people on social media?" and do their own research. I would like to make a motion to form a bipartisan communication committee made up of residents and council members who would be charged with developing a plan for the use of email blasts, social media, the borough website, and the newsletter to effectively communicate with our residents in a way that does not violate their civil rights.
Are you finished?
I am.
Let me explain to those who are not aware. In the last 2 weeks, council has been bombarded by, I will call them concerned citizens, over social media issues. They only copy Mrs. Guy. The Facebook site that you were speaking of, which you have continually talked about for 8 or 9 months now, is privately owned. It is not owned by myself. I was asked to be a moderator. No tax dollars are spent, as I have said before, on this site. There is no political post permitted. That has been stopped 3 months ago. The header has been changed. Residents who have complained about being blocked may not politically agree with some of our opinions. We have asked that the newsletter not have a link to it. No public announcements. You pulled up an older announcement. Will be made on that site. If you go back, you will find that those public announcements are removed. Again, no political postings will be permitted. All of which you have talked about removing social media, Facebook, that will cost every taxpayer in this room monies. And you've laid out your case for ACLU to come and sue us. And I will make sure that if that happens and the lawsuit is presented, that those suing the borough will be named in legal terms. Because every person here who is a taxpayer will pay that bill, including everybody on this board. I don't find that communication, whether it's a committee or it's a sit down with tea, will help at this point. I have tried diligently today, I have tried on prior occasions to stop creating a wedge to go between many people in this community which have started the hate and the vile comments and the wedge. And I've tried diligently to move on and respect those with respect and communication. You continually, Mrs. Guy, want to beat the Facebook horse. If you choose to do that, that's your right. And after all, we've all seen what you've thought of every one of us and more on your Facebook page of freedom of speech. At this point, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn. I think we've all had enough this evening.
Oh, point of order, there's a motion on the table, that's for a second.
Did I hear a second?
Second.
Then I will ask for a roll call vote. Mr. Sidlow, would you like to form a communication committee?
Aye.
Mrs. Guy?
Aye.
Mr. Schwager?
Aye.
Mr. Long?
No.
Mr. Capabianco?
No.
Mr. Bull?
No.
Mrs. Percival, no. Motion declined. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, everyone. It's been a long night.